Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to do the long-awaited GameCube adapter for the JFJ Easy Pro Plus. I'm going to tell you right now that it's definitely not the funnest thing to use with it. It's a pretty manual switch. You have to switch out this plate right here. And I just don't think that the machine is built to be able to withstand you constantly removing this. I've removed it one time, and you may be able to see this already starting to leave some marks in there from the flathead screwdriver that you have to use that they do not provide. So make sure if you're going to get this, you have a flathead screwdriver at home, a pretty wide one. I have one here, old rusty one that gets the job done. But they do provide you with this wrench, which you have to slip in the backside, and I'll show you guys, how to do that part and how to get this thing off. And you'll be replacing it with this right here, which is just a smaller version of this to fit basically right on a GameCube style disc. And that way it sits flush on the pad. For the pads, they actually do have like GameCube specific pads. We'll open this one up. I haven't done a game yet, so we'll be doing, wow, they sent me like a curved pad. I don't even know. But anyway, I guess we can just mold it back into shape. But yeah, apparently these are, it says right here, for GameCube, which this is the buffing pad, which is the white pad. But I actually have one of the JFJ buffing pads that are, I guess, just a normal one. And you can see, like, they're pretty much the same pad. So I don't know what the deal is with it being marked as like GameCube specific. I was able to maybe the GameCube one is a tad bit thinner, like I'm talking like a millimeter or so. So I don't know what the big difference is. To be honest, you probably can just use the regular JFJ pads if you use those, or if not, if you use some of the pads that I've suggested in the past on other videos. We'll see how those turn out. I'm actually going to do one game with the JFJ pads, and I'm going to do another game with just the Milwaukee pad that I use right now, and we'll just see how they turn out. But yeah, so, and funny enough, they only have a GameCube specific pad for the buffing pad. For their polishing or their extreme shine pads, they don't have a GameCube version. They are just a regular pad. Again, it's same exact size, so I don't know if like maybe they were going to try to sell different pads for the GameCube one and the regular one, and then maybe they got a lot of flack for it. I don't know, but it was just a real half you know what approach to it. But yeah, so first thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna bring you in. We're gonna take this off, and we're going to put on the GameCube adapter plate. Note, these are the instructions. They don't tell you anything about actually taking this off other than this picture right here. So hopefully you look at this picture and you understand it. Obviously it's not a lot. It'll work better if they would have told you like which way to go. I'll obviously tell you that. Just doing other mechanical things, I kind of already knew like which way that thing had to be turned. Sometimes it's confusing when you have two different tools going opposite ways of like which way you should turn each one, and you obviously don't want to put too much torque on this and break it. But yeah, and they just recommend that you put the compound on the outside of the pad, since obviously the GameCube disc is smaller than a regular disc. It's not going to be touching the interior of the pad much, so they're basically saying, hey, you want to focus on the outside ring of your pad when it comes to applying the product. All right, so the first thing you want to do, you want to take the wrench they give you. You'll notice that there is going to be a short side, which is right here, and a longer side of like this nut. And what you want to do is you want to slide your wrench over the short side right there. So I'm going to rotate that up, and you basically just push down like that. You want to get your wrench in there good until it snaps. Now this is basically just to hold it. So then let me bring you guys around. I'll show you what to do with the flathead. All right, so you can see here we got our wrench on pretty good. And basically this is just going to be our tool to hold that nut in place while we take out this stud right here. Again, it has a slit down the middle, so you just want to stick your flathead in. You want to put it right in the middle. And what you want to do is you want to focus on turning this counterclockwise or to the left. You want to be turning your actual flathead to the left. And all you're doing is basically holding this steady to make sure that the nut in the bottom is not turning. And it's probably going to be a pain, especially if you haven't done this before. So yeah, just hold it and try to put in some muscle as best as you can, because it's not going to be that easy. But once you get it started, it's not that bad, but it does eat in this little thing a little bit. It's definitely not built to be doing this a bunch. Honestly, if you're somebody who has like a ton of GameCube games that they like to do, and you're also somebody who's been getting really good results out of the JFJ for like your other games, it might actually behoove you to just invest in getting another machine and just have it strictly for GameCube games, because it probably will hold up a lot better. But yeah, so you can see we basically took this one off. If you ever needed to know like what side it was on, usually the dirtier side is the back side that doesn't touch the disc, and this side that touches the disc usually has like this little ring around the center of where you've been putting that black piece. So that's just an easy way to kind of remember which way they go back on. All right, just grab our little small GameCube one, and you just want to line it up with the hole as best as possible, and you basically just screw this down. Make sure you start it just doing it like finger tight. That way you make sure you're not cross threading it. You should be able to get at least 2 to 3 rotations, full rotations of that stud before you want to start turning it with the tool, because you do not want to cross thread this thing. It would be really bad. So just make sure that you finger tighten it first before you start doing this part. And now we're just turning this to the right. Again, you're just holding your wrench. And my wrench just came off, so let's slide the wrench back on. This tool is not the best, I'll tell you right now. So just kind of bear with it. Try to do the best you can. Again, this is a super manual effort, so it's just a tough time of getting the wrench to stay put, because it just, I don't know. It just doesn't really want to do what you're asking it to do for whatever reason. All right, let's see if we can get it now. And you basically want to tighten this until you can't get it to go anymore. Should be good. Then you just kind of try to wiggle this thing out as best you can. Again, you're going to feel like it's hurting the machine, but it is what it is. This is pretty much the way you have to do it. So we got our piece on there, nice and small. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to take out our Maguire's pad, which I've been using quite a bit. You can see the little lip starting to form, but not too much. And we're going to put in our GameCube pad, our GameCube buffing pad here. We're just going to see how these perform against the Maguire's pad, because why not? All right, so we got these on here. I'm going to grab my game and let's get it going. We'll see what we can do. First game up is going to be SpongeBob SquarePants Bikini Bottom. Battle for Bikini Bottom, I believe. Let's see if I can get some good light here. Maybe you guys can. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you can see this game's been worked over. Yeah. Matter of fact, maybe I'm going to actually give the JFJ pads, maybe I'll give them a little easier game. I don't think Sonic is that bad. Yeah, so there you can see Sonic. This is Sonic Mega Collection. Oh no, well, it just got worse. Just dropped it. So yeah, you see we have a little smudge now. But yeah, this one actually isn't too bad. Really light scratching. we'll see if the JFJ can bring this one back. So let me move you guys back and we'll start the work. All right, so flip our machine on. I'm going to soak this pad with some water. Where's my water? There it is. Because it is the first time. Now, all these steps are basically things I've shown on other videos, so we're not doing anything different from my normal process, other than obviously using a different back plate. So, just going to spray that down, get it nice and damp, because this is the first time we've ever used this pad. So, we'll put our GameCube game up there, and let's see, do I have my little piece? There it is. Little cloth that I talk about using just to kind of try to protect the center of the disc as much as possible. Let's put that on here. There we go. Spray the disc a little bit with some water. Grab our plastics. I haven't got a chance to get the 110 and the 210, which is basically like the high-speed versions of these Meguiar's. It's supposed to be good for machines like, well, basically like DA style machines, so more high speed. So yeah, I'm going to put a little bit on the outside. I want to test. Yeah. So basically, yeah, like I said, you kind of want to stick to the outside. I'll put a slight ring around the entire outside of it. We'll see what happens. We'll push it down. And they do recommend 1 minute, so we'll do a minute of buffing and then we'll do a minute of the extreme shine polish and we'll see what happens. So 1 minute it is. I'll tell you that it does sound a lot different than it does with the bigger disc. It sounds like, I don't know, it has more of a high pitched sound to it. I don't know if that's because I'm using the official JFJ pads or not, but I mean, I never use these, so. But I kind of am curious. I wanted to maybe do a video where we use the pads and see maybe if utilizing some of like the water techniques and things like that, that you could get really good results with their pads. If you're somebody who just wants to buy their pad because it's easier, it's a direct fit for the machine, that you could get great results. So I'm probably going to put a video out about that, and you know, just for people who don't want to go try to find the Bayer pads or find the Milwaukee pads and you know all these different kind of pads, you can just use the JFJs. Although they are a little bit more pricey, you know, it is kind of a quick like put in and put out, and that long talk basically got us through this. Trying to give you some words of wisdom there while we did it. Let's see, we'll leave that on there, and we're going to switch out this pad. We'll bring in our brand new Extreme Shine pad, because that's what we're looking for, the Extreme Shine. We'll set this on, spray this down with some water, because again, first time ever using a pad. Hit that with a little bit of water. And we're going to use the same thing. Obviously, JFJ would say that they want you to use the white compound with the white pad and the blue compound with the yellow pad. Well, I guess I should have used their stuff, huh, if I'm using their pads. You know what? I'll use their polish for the first time ever.
Oh, Lord.
You'll see me use JFJ. An actual JFJ product. Oops. It's hard to get this stuff just around the outside, though. I will say that. That should be good enough. And for anyone wondering, it's literally just around the outside of the pad. Basically almost like you're outlining it, but obviously you're not going over the edge. So close this back up and we'll do 1 minute. One bad thing about having to do the outside is when you start it, it's gonna sling everywhere. Like I like to kind of focus it under the disc to try to keep it as much on the pad as possible. But I'm gonna do what they say on this one, and then when we do SpongeBob, I'm gonna do what I normally do and see if we get the same results or possibly better results, because it just stops the inside of this from getting as dirty. Oh, another video I wanted to do is I'm actually going to compare the JFJ versus the Elm Eco Pro. I believe it's the Elm Eco Pro. Basically, they're like $1,500 to $1,800 version of this machine, which there has pros and cons, obviously, like anything. But yeah, I'm gonna do a video comparing the two and just tell people like my thoughts on it, and maybe you know, you could use that information to determine which one you actually need. Again, I got you through it, so there we go. All right, so it is done. Now, if we were going to do like another disc like right away, I would always tell you, touch this. Make sure it's not that hot. Because if you're like, boom, just constantly going, this thing's going to build up heat and it'll damage the disc. So that's one good thing to remember, is that do give these plates a little bit of time to cool down. Now, spraying it with water and stuff does help dissipate the heat, so they don't build up as much, but that is something that you want to just take notice of. Because if you're going back, like if you have a stack of games you're going through and you're just doing boom, boom, boom real quick, that back plate can get hot and it'll start ruining discs. So, all right. So we got that off. Let me see here. Oh, it actually looks pretty good. Let me see. I gotta get this little smudge off over here. Let me see if I can see it. Then I'll bring you guys in. It does have like the little kind of like very faint, like light swirlies, I guess. Pretty sure that the disc will play. And honestly, does the disc look better than it did? Yes. But it does leave some like light swirls. Let me see if I can bring you guys in and show you what I'm talking about. All right, so here's the game. Let me see. So there you go. You can kind of see that even though the game is better than what it was, I guess, there's just a lot of like that like light swirl all through it that the JFJ pads just for whatever reason love to put in the discs. I'm just assuming it's because the buffing pad is just harsh, but yeah. So I think the game would play, but obviously you don't really want that in your disc. So we will try the next disc with my pads and see what we can get. All right, so we're going to put Sonic away. Thank you, Sonic, for everything you've done for the channel. For whatever reason, I've never listed that game. I don't know why, but it just kind of hung around. It's become my GameCube test game. Maybe because I really love Sonic. All right, there is my Maguires. Trying to sit this as middle as possible. That's good. And where is SpongeBob? Here he is, hiding underneath this. You guys, did I show you how bad SpongeBob is? I don't know, but it's pretty bad. As you can see, SpongeBob is really bad. And SpongeBob, just so you know, that is the disc. I'm just trying to get a great angle so you can like really see. But yeah, you can see she's pretty bad. But all right, let's go ahead and start to work on it. See what happens. All right. Put that on. Where's my little pad? Oops. Here. Put a piece on. Spray, 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 spray. Spray that down a little bit. Don't need to do it too much because I do use this. And this one we're just going to do right here on the edge. Okay. Boom. And that should be good right there. And we're going to go for, matter of fact, we're going to do 2 minutes. We're going to see what happens. With the water, I have been doing 2 minutes now that I'm like kind of spraying the disc and the pad itself. Like again, that water just helps dissipate the heat, so I feel more safe using the 2 minute cycle than I used to in the past. And again, using a machine like this, it's not very cookie cutter. Like it's just one of those machines, the more you use it and the different like processes you come up with, depending on what you're working on or how bad the disc is or what kind of disc it is, whether it's a PS1 black back game, a PS2 like purplish back game, whether it's a Blu-ray disc, you know, whatever. You'll kind of just build up over time like a skill set of trying to figure out, or that you know, like, okay, with this disc I should do this because I get the better results here, or maybe you should do a certain thing because it's, you know, it's a certain level of damage to the disc. Oh, and one thing while this thing is going, they do give you these very thin ones for the GameCube adapter for sanding. So you would just take the same sanding strips that you would use with the regular ones, and you put it on top of this white part. They do send you two, one for use for your coarse and one to use for your soft. I don't know why they're thin though, like because it doesn't make sense why they're thin. I don't know if these like I really don't know why these are the way they are.
Why are you the way that you are? I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
They don't really tell you. It doesn't even seem like it would make contact with the disc, to be honest. Maybe they sit on top of these or something, but that doesn't make sense. I honestly don't know what they're for. So, but they do send you those very thin pads for the sanding. It's very weird. I don't know why they don't send better instructions. I mean, literally, I don't even know what I do with the paper, but it's literally the worst. Here they are. The worst instructions ever. It says, place the sandpaper on the white side of the sanding paper only. Do not use the sanding and buffing pads that originally came with your machine because it will ruin the pads. So apparently the sanding part has to be very thin. Don't know why. Alright, so I'll take that off. Let's move these to the back. And that one's not scorching hot or anything like that, but I can definitely tell some more heat built up on that one. And here we got a lot that kind of crept over to the front, which is not good. The only bad thing about these is that the sizes don't match up, so you're always going to get like, I don't know, it just feels makeshift. Even though you're switching out the back plate, it just still doesn't feel like this machine should be doing GameCube discs. I'm trying to get that little piece off. There we go. But I guess somehow they make it happen. Let's see. That's actually not bad. Dang, it's a lot of it's a lot of dried up product that made its way to the outside. Let's see. Okay, that should be pretty good, I guess. I'll just make sure I didn't leave any. Only bad thing is, like, sometimes when you're rubbing this thing against it, like, it can leave little small nicks. I try not to rub it too hard, but alright, let me bring you guys in. The disc is definitely better than what it was. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's a lot better than where we started. But let me bring you in. Alright, you can see Battle for Bikini Bottom. And let's see if I can get this going. There, let's see. So you can see there's definitely some like slight scratching in it. Got some scratches still in it. Some lighter ones. Obviously this game was a little on the harsher side. This might be a game where if we ran it through maybe a couple more times, we would get better results. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really feel like this thing does the best with GameCube games. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't feel like this disc would have any issues playing because it does look a lot better than what it did. But it also is not a disc that I would feel comfortable with selling. Again, this disc was in a lot worse shape than our Sonic Megastars game. Matter of fact, maybe if I did Sonic Megastars, I wonder if we could get the swirls out if we used our Maguire pad. So we're going to do that. These games are not really going to sell. So you know what? I'm just going to do this because I'm trying to speed this up. Boom, 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 boom. Spray that down. Smooth that out the way. All right. Boom. And 1 minute. So we're going to see if we can clear that one up a little bit. Because again, I don't feel like that disc was that bad. I actually feel like the JFJ pad actually put in more swirls than it started with, maybe. But yeah, so I don't know. Again, the game is playable, but I would probably have to sell this in maybe like fair condition where it's a playable game. But if you looked at the back of it, you know, you'd be disappointed if someone tried to tell you like this was very good condition or good condition. But we sit this down because I don't even have a case for that. It just came in a GameCube that I had. So let's see what happens. Hopefully this one turns out better. All right, that's done. Yep, just warm, not too bad. Let's try to find a good spot on this thing here. Make sure we get any of that. I guess made his way around. All right. And let's see here. So hard finding good light. All this light down here. Trying to make sure I don't leave any like smears on it from the. Sometimes when you're wiping it with the rag, you can leave like little smears. All right. So let's bring you guys in. You can take a look at it. All right. As you can see, Sonic Mega Collection. As you can tell, it definitely took out a lot of those like swirls that the JFJ pad put in there. Let's see. God. Yeah. Now this disc I would feel comfortable with selling. Let me see. I guess you can kind of maybe not. I don't know. I'm kind of picky over this stuff anyway. But, I don't know. I think this turned out pretty good. So that one did well. Still some slight scratching in there. Obviously a lot better than what it was. But yeah, so, I mean, I would say that it does work. Again, I don't know about like having this as your GameCube resurfacing solution. To be honest, maybe if the discs aren't too bad, you can get away with it. Again, switching it back and forth between the GameCube plate and the, I guess, regular disc size plate. If you're going to be doing that a lot, I'm going to tell you right now that this thing is probably going to start to wear really bad. And it's going to open up the gap wider. And it's going to be hard for you to keep your flathead in there because it's going to keep eating through this material, which doesn't seem to be the strongest. And I'm also will be worried about the threads constantly going in and out. It just doesn't feel like this thing is made the best. And they do sell replacements, so that lets me know that people have been needing replacements, probably because they have the GameCube adapter and they're doing a lot of switching back and forth. So if you wanted to give it a shot and you're happy with your results, like I said, with the game, that wasn't too bad. We got pretty good results. It might actually be cost efficient to just order another one and keep one just like this and then have your second one where you do all your regular size discs. So, well, I mean, I can't say that we had like amazing results, at least to me anyway. I don't feel like they were that great. It'll get the job done. That's what I'll say about it, but I wouldn't say I'm too impressed with their GameCube adapter. So, yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it helps you some. If you were on the fence about maybe trying out getting one of these GameCube adapters. Oh yeah, it did run me like $60 or so. It's like 60, somewhere in the neighborhood of like 50 to 70 bucks. So I don't know why I did that so late. The price definitely should have been said. But yeah, so yeah, that's gonna just be aware that it's definitely not the cheapest adapter either. So, but yeah. Well, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one, which will be the JFJ versus the Elm Eco Pro. But yeah, peace.